life has taught me that it's important to seek help when needed, as well as realize that you're not always going to get what you need when you need it. You have to have that self determination that, okay, I may not have what I need, but I'm going to work with what I got. I'm going to work with what I got and make it happen. Question is how I'm going to condense this vlog into 10 minutes when I have a lot to say today. I hope you enjoyed the first vlog. Of course, this is the second one, and I got a lot of notes. So, it's been a year since my car accident. Um, Last year in August, I got into a car accident that that really changed my life, and in a way that I didn't expect. I never anticipated going through what I went through last year. So I guess I'll tell you what happened. I was on my way from an event, driving home. I wasn't really familiar with the road per se, but it was an outdoor event that I went to. And as I'm driving down this little winding road, I start to feel something in my shirt. And when I tell you, I was like, maybe I'm tripping. I was just outside. I'm continuing to drive, drive, drive. This thing crawls from right here to my chest area. Of course, I'm not thinking like, I don't know. It was just so unexpected. I wasn't thinking like, all right, just stop the car, pull over. Now I was just thinking, all right, maybe it's just like a little something that got in my shirt. I go to swat it. It's this huge. I don't know what it is, because when I swatted it, it was like this big, and I remember just like, wait, what the? Looking down, grabbing this big old bug and throwing it down, throwing it on the ground. Next thing you know, I look up, I'm in the grass heading to the stop sign, flying across an intersection and slamming into a little dirt wall. When I tell you that I was so shocked and confused and embarrassed, but that was even half of it. From the impact of that accident, I immediately got a concussion, which turned out to be like a traumatic brain injury that lasted longer than the typical concussion. So after a while, the effects continued, even to today. But initially, in the beginning of that experience of having that concussion, when I tell you I went through excruciating pain, loneliness, when I tell you that I could not do anything, I mean, like, I couldn't function. I couldn't get out of bed. I would get dizzy. I would start throwing up. I was a fall risk, and I could not, like, I really needed someone to be here with me through that moment and really, like, make sure that when I get up, I'm moving around safely. That will make sure, okay, let me just, make sure she's walking from room to room carefully and safely, because I had balancing issues. Couldn't walk up the steps without getting nauseous, dizzy. This the first time I had migraines. My legs would shake going up and down the steps because my balance was just so messed up. And in my sight, even to the day, like bright lights, especially like screens, cause like migraines, but initially in the beginning of my recovery, that would put me out. Like I couldn't do anything but lay in bed and hope that I don't turn over or roll over quick enough or too fast to the point where like my head would hurt or my body would ache. It was just excruciating pain. And then on top of that, I was being harassed. When I tell you that I was experiencing workplace mobbing and bullying and gaslighting, I was going through it. And eventually, I lost my job, and which, I couldn't even work or function anyway. So I just, that was a blessing in disguise because it gave me time to rest, even though I was like anxious. My story isn't unique. It's not different from thousands, hundreds of thousands of Black women that have lost their job or been pushed out of the workforce in the past year and a half or so. But when when I tell you going through that, in addition to my concussion recovery, I felt so alone. I felt like I can't even move around. I can't even turn my head. Like I couldn't do anything without passing out, stumbling, having like excruciating pain in my head and my body. Like I was going through it. Um, yeah, I live far from family, and my circle has gotten small throughout the years. But going through that has taught me a lot about myself. It taught me the importance of community. It also taught me how, even with loved ones and people that care about you, there are times where you really need somebody and they may not be there. And there may be months like that and they may not be there for one reason or the other. Um, Whether they think that your injury isn't as significant because they can't physically see like broken bones or things of that nature. Um, I went through it. And I think a couple of days ago, August 9th, represented a year since my accident. When I tell you now, I'm skateboarding again, doing some Muay Thai. I'm starting to create again, record. I have my lights, which are a little bit more dimmer than I would if I were filming another subject or interviewing someone else. But because of my like vision limitations, my lights are like set to my comfort and set to a temperature that I can tolerate. I have special glasses where I have a pink tint for migraines. I have prisms in my glasses so that I can see straight, which reduces migraines and things of that nature. Um, so yeah, like my life has changed. Thank you, Chloe. Chloe usually comes up. She usually pops up when I'm talking about something like very significant and deep, and she tried to comfort me. But thank you, Chloe. I appreciate you. This is Chloe. I have another cat named Lola. But yeah, so yeah, I really sat with that on Sunday, because it was an emotional time for me. Um, it was very painful. Thank you, Chloe. Chloe likes my lotion. Okay, that's enough, Chloe. But it was very painful. It was what do you have to say to Chloe? Chloe got something to say. What you got to say? But yeah, that was a very painful time. Not only worried about income, finances. I was blessed in that I had started to save for a 401k, and when I had lost my job, I used that to stabilize myself through that season, in addition to unemployment. So I was blessed in that nature, but when it started running out, I said, I gotta get a job. I was looking for a job in my field, and I didn't like really peep like what season I was in, where like, all right, these businesses are really showing themselves. They don't want black women. A lot of them don't want black women. But when I tell you I'm a worker, as soon as I could walk for more than 5 minutes without feeling symptoms, as soon as I could sit and ride in a vehicle or drive a vehicle without projectile vomiting, I got a job that was not too demanding on my body and not too demanding on my sight. So I did that, and then I also started investing in my business. I'm an entrepreneur, and a lot of what I do involved screens, cameras for capturing in footage, lights for making sure that things are well lit, my laptop for editing footage. You know, a lot of things I do is on my screen. Or at the time, I was working on my dissertation, and I had to take a step back from school in order to focus on my health, and that was also painful. Um, I felt like I failed. I felt like, damn, if I didn't get in that accident, maybe life would be different. Maybe I would perform better. Maybe people would see me for who I am and not for this disability. Maybe the people that wanted to get rid of me in my last workplace wouldn't have that much leverage if I didn't get in my accident. But when I tell you, more recently I thought about how much peace I have, how much time I have to really dig into my dissertation and succeed and successfully complete my dissertation. I have 2 semesters left. When I tell you that pain really paved the way for me to hone in on my goals and really focus on what's important to me, it did. But that doesn't negate how painful it was or is, even when I talk about it. But I had other things I wanted to talk about, but I didn't know. I didn't know the accident would take up so much time in my learning experience from that. Um, I guess I'll talk about the flip side. That I did have time to date. I met my girlfriend. Um, I got to see who my true friends were. I got to see people for who they really are. Those who were in my corner and those who thought about themselves in that moment. And not to blame them. My perspective is that things happen, but life moves on. And that's not, I say it to myself, I would not say it to anyone else. But the way I talk to myself is different. I'll say to myself, life moves on. And either I push myself and try to move along with it, or I get left behind. I just have to say it to myself because otherwise I'll be stuck in self pity. Woe is me. This person isn't showing up for me. That person just like totally threatened me, and now I'm just, oh no, I just, no. Life has taught me that it's important to seek help when needed, as well as realize that you're not always going to get what you need when you need it. Um, that's just life. But you have to have that self determination that, okay, I may not have what I need, but I'm going to work with what I got. I'm going to work with what I got and make it happen. I just want to encourage you to know your value, know who you are. Take time away from social media, take time away from the noise, and really dig into who am I? Not who I am for likes, not who I can be to gain more influence, but who am I authentically? Thanks for spending this moment with me. I appreciate you for taking a moment to hear my story, and I appreciate your time. And I hope that you were encouraged. I also hope that you're able to think about some things on a personal level for yourself. My name is Chaja. I go by Cha. You can learn more about my creative side and my business side at savvychild.com. And you can follow me for more on this platform. All right. Peace.